welcome back to another video. I wanted to put you in the mood. And no, not like that. No, I wanted to put you in the fall mood. The leaves are changing colors and falling to the ground. Everyone's got their flannels on. Starbucks is releasing the pumpkin spice that we all love so much. I'm one of those people. I am a basic white bitch. Oh yeah, apple cider. That's not a common thing. I feel like people don't like that one as much, but I love apple cider and apple pie. And if you got kids, it's time for some fall time fun. And what do you do if you live in the rural South? You go to the fair. I think in my hometown, it's actually next to a Walmart. Yeah, at one time it was in the field next to a Walmart. I'm not joking. I made the horrible decision of going back to the state fair as an adult. And I have to say, things aren't looking good. Everything looked the exact same, and not in like a nostalgic. No, it's more like a oh my god, they haven't updated shit. I remember one ride they had Hawkeye, they had the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and I think they had the Hulk too. Batman was on there too at one point. And there's one going online. I don't know if it's like AI or edited in some way, but they had Manta Ray from SpongeBob, and I would kill to see that in person. But going back as an adult, you realize that all the lights and all the music played on like a really shitty JBL speaker, like playing AC/DC and the Black Eyed Peas. It's kind of like moths to a flame with like kids with tickets. You just hear, I'll be rocking these beats. What? Eyes get bigger. It's all fucked up on like 50 parts sugar and 1 part lemon. That's how I like my lemonade though. I like it 99% sugar, 1 splash of lemon juice. Anything more than that, it's too fucking much. Like maybe I'm just a pruny, mean, sad old man because I got on one of the rides and I immediately almost threw up. I was holding shit back. And if you remember my video from like maybe a year ago, it actually got that on camera. It's getting worse with time. I'm actively turning into the person that's just like, no, I'll just watch everyone else have a good time and I'll just sit here and be sad. But going back, it makes you think of who's actually checking the safety of these rides and what's happened when no one's looking. It makes you think of the horrors of the state fair. Everyone immediately thinks of when they think of danger and state fair, the rides.
True. I'm not an engineer, but that's not good.
First one up is the Ohio State Fair Fireball. The Fireball, aka the Afterburner, ride seats 24 people swinging on a pendulum that sends passengers halfway upside down, 65 feet in the air, spinning riders around 13 times a minute. Jesus. The ride had a catastrophic failure, sending riders hurling into the crowd, leaving 7 injured and 1 rider, Tyler Jarrell, who died at the scene. The ride broke down to one of the hollow beams being excessively corroded on the inside, with the owners KMG releasing a statement 16 days later expressing sympathies to everyone affected and posted on their website outlining how to inspect for corrosion inside the beam, as well as adding scheduled visual inspection affected areas. 16 days. 2 weeks and 2 days. I'll be rocking them beats. What? I'll be rocking them beats. What? Also, by the way, just forewarning before we get into anything extremely deep, like we haven't already. This is a lot of death. This is a lot of injuries. I'm not making fun of anyone who's gotten hurt or the families that have been in the situation, mainly the situations themselves and the lack of care that went into them. Again, I cannot express enough. Pay attention. I'm not making fun of anyone who actually got hurt. An independent group also looked at the ride and past it. State inspectors said, our guys do not rush through this stuff. Listen, it only happened this time. We don't rush through the inspection of the Fireball. Did you check the Fireball? Yeah. Just doesn't look a little... Yep. She's good. Sorry, anytime I think of state fair, I think of drunk, high, or just extremely incompetent Southern people just not paying a bit of attention. And keep in mind, they get hired fairly easily. You have 3 DUIs, you've been divorced at least 5 times, and your kids hate you. Well, sir, I'd like to go ahead and welcome you to the state fair. You'll be operating the Fireball. Oh, hell yeah. Here's your pre-shift drink. Go ahead, have a good time. Okay, and then 5 years before, but 2012. So 2012 is when they were like, all right, this shit's busted. 5 years later, they're like, looks good to me. Listen, the Fireball, she's a steel maiden. Nothing's gonna break her. He says that as it just breaks down right behind him. She lasted a good 19 years. One rider, Keziah Lewis, the girlfriend of Tyler, was injured, causing $2 million in medical bills with the lifelong neurologic deficit. Okay, shit, apparently I can't read today. A deficit in her right foot, which will require ongoing physical and cognitive rehabilitation. She was awarded $20 million by the court 7 years after the incident. I don't mean to keep on breaking away like every second or so, but 7 years. I don't understand why it would take that so long. I understand that I'm not exactly literate, highly educated. I just genuinely think, all right, it broke and now you can't walk right for the next for life. It's that it has to be a long drawn out thing of like, well, how bad did you really get hurt in the first place? Come on now. You want us to pay for your medical bills? How about some cotton candy and 50 tickets? No? 60 tickets? Take it or leave it. In total, the courts have awarded $78 million to 4 of the injured parties, despite the court ruling the Fireball ride may still be in operation, going by different names, with 48 in total being made, with 11 of them being made with 11 of them still being in the United States. What the fuck? Other rides by the same manufacturer started being pulled from other state fairs soon after. And I could guarantee your ass it was mainly because they saw like a dip in sales and they're like, all right, get the Fireball out, boys. We'll bring her back in a few years. The riders start seeing the emblem of the company right before they get on. Wait a minute, I want to get on. In some cases, the rides won't stop. That brings us to the Magic Carpet Ride. Attendees at the 95th Annual National Cherry Festival in Traverse City, Michigan, helped hold the ride down as it malfunctioned and started rocking back and forth with the operator reportedly switching off the ride and jumping to safety. Watching the video, you can just see the ride operator jump down, just like scuttle away. I gotta get back to my trailer. Rebecca's waiting on me. I can't die here. I think that it should go in the way of like a captain of your own ship. If the ship's going down, the captain's going down with it. The Magic Carpet Ride came off the blocking, said Joe Evans of Traverse City, based on Arnold amusements. It was being sent back to the Ohio company that manufactured it. Obviously, there was a malfunction, Evans said. We don't know as of what yet it is. I can take a few fucking guesses what happened. These rides are put together so fast. I don't doubt by any means that the ride was inspected. Do I doubt that it was inspected well? 100%. The company also stated that the rides are inspected daily by the Arnold Amusements employees and annually by the state and 3 times a year by the third party. And on that, I call bullshit. Of course, I believe that they are being inspected, but not in the way that they're thinking. Or that it's coming off. They fixed one little bulb on there, placed the JBL speaker batteries. All right, she's good to go, boys. The ride starts trembling and shaking. Oh, she does that sometimes. But at the state fair, as a carnival goer, as a state fair goer, you expect maybe I'll get hurt, but maybe it just goes as far as maybe the guests getting hurt. Like, there's no way that an employee or a carny operator is going to like actually get hit by one of these things. They're around it enough. They've been shown the safety videos. I'm really curious as to what a safety video at a carnival looks like. Please, someone, if you have that, please send it to me. Ovalene Mudd, a 45-year-old man, lost his life July 6, 2023, while performing routine maintenance on the popular Gravitron ride during one of his training shifts at the Smith County Fair. The ride was turned off and involved them in... I'm not laughing at what happened. It's just the ride wasn't on. Just want to put that in the bold lettering. I was turned off and involved them mainly rotating the ride by hand. Disaster struck when the workers thought they heard everyone say clear before testing the ride. Mudd's sister said they told him to go clear and thought he was clear, but a pole came back and hit him in the head. All right, there's 5 of us and there's 4 here. All right, go ahead, start her up. The family wasn't notified until 7 hours after the tragic accident until a Carthage coroner messaged her on Facebook, with air saying you should get people's emergency contact whether they're working for you that day, a week, or ever how long. You should have some way to contact their family if it's dangerous. Imagine like expecting a response on like the low ball that you gave for like that Harley Davidson that you probably shouldn't have. After a third-party investigation, the inspector concluded there was no operational issues were found leading to the business resumption letter for the Graviton, on top of Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development reported that the James Gain Amusements had not encountered any prior issues while operating in the state of Tennessee. It wouldn't shock me if they didn't just wipe up everything and then just turn the ride back on. She's good to go. On that one, they said, oh, it's never happened before. The Gravitron has no mechanical issues. But what about the rides that do have mechanical issues? The rides that continuously break down, they have to go ahead and take those off, right? You're wrong. You're dumb. You're stupid. Dumb. The Zipper, created in 1968 by Joseph Brown, was extremely popular among fairgoers for its strong vertical G-forces and unpredictable spins. The ride features 12 cars, 2 people each, being pulled along an oblong boom by a cable. Just looking at this ride, I would not go on it. It just looks absolutely terrifying. It's the one ride that I would say, like, hey, let me skip that one. Let's go ahead and get a churro or a turkey leg. But the ride is extremely popular. On July 9th, 2006, 2 14-year-old girls visited the Maine State Fair Corn and Clover Carnival when they decided to ride the Zipper ride. The town mayor reports being told that the girls were most likely near the peak of the 25-foot ride, making the final turn where the ride jolts, pitching the 2 girls out of the cage, hurling towards the ground. And pitching being the best word I think you could use. Both the girls were airlifted to different hospitals. The carnival company, Magle Carnival Midways, released a statement saying that nothing like this has ever happened before. Oh, how they were wrong. Origins of the Zipper. Since the ride's creation, the Zipper has had a troublesome past with even the U.S. government in the late 70s, warning riders against the Zipper ride. Since then, the car is closed using a latch and a large pin. Keep in mind, in the late 70s, the government really didn't give a they didn't really care. I don't think that this is the first time the Zipper's broken down and, like, lives have been lost. It had to happen at least a few times.
Broken down twice. It's no big deal. This is the 3rd time? 4 people?
So you can imagine how dangerous the Zipper actually is for them to say, hey,
Maybe don't ride that one.
The St. John Carnival in Delaware was happy to have the Zipper. The owners of the ride, Lynn Amusements, claim for the ride to be absolute ultimate intensity and that you cannot find it anywhere else. On June 7th, 2023, the Zipper had broken off of its hinges, falling down into the center of the ride, leaving those in cages trapped 30 feet off the ground. As the ride would not move, 20 people were stuck in the air waiting for firefighters to rescue them, with rescuing taking hours. No serious injuries were reported. When will they learn? But hey, that guy was right about one thing. You cannot find an experience like that anywhere else besides the Zipper. And like, they have to know, right? They have to know, like, about the ride's past. Like, just see it on the news. Or like, they got it at, like, a really good deal and they just have to have it at the ride. It's too popular with the kids. We can't take it away from them. Like, they have to know. They have to know that the ride is, like, somewhat dangerous. So what if a few kids got trapped and thrown off the ride? That'll be 6 tickets, thank you. Just like the little new latch and pin being like a bread twist tie. So keep in mind, that's just the ones that I found. This ride is broken down on more than one occasion, at least 3 to 4 separate times. And they're still just like, can we just cough that up to like a couple oopsie daisies? And in all of these situations, there's always been at least like an ambulance on site or like a firefighter or like the police involved. There's always been someone there to make sure that you're okay. But not in this case. That brings us to the Indiana Du Bois County State Fair. On July 17th, 2024, at a 4-H festival, a young girl wanted to ride the rock and roll roller coaster, but was a lone rider. Anna DeOrto, getting on the ride, noticed a single rider and invited the girl to ride with them so she didn't have to go on the ride alone. And at least she was like next to someone who was like sane. I always get stuck next to people who looked like they just stare at me as we're going back and forth on the ride and just not scream. Why are you even on this ride? I love watching people scream. The operator started the ride without checking the girl's safety belts, and the ride dipped down twice before the harness came loose, sending the young girl flying, landing head first. Anna immediately started waving her arms, screaming that the seat belt is not latched and that she fell and someone needs to help. That's the thing about some of these coasters. Just hear someone screaming. You can't really distinguish it between actual danger and someone having fun. Help! Someone needs help! Please stop the ride! I need to get off! Oh my god, we need to go on that. Get in line, kids, get in line! The ride operators didn't even bother to check on the girl or stop the ride at all, as the girl had to pick herself up and walk back to the... Oh, shit. Okay. She had to pick herself up and walk back to the entrance. What a trooper. I would be hamming that shit up. You just see me. Ah! Ah! My I think I'd purposely try to break my arms. Just like, see what you did? You did that to yourself. I'm gonna need 5 funnel cakes, 2 fried pickles, and unlimited rides for the rest of the day. Thank you. All right. But only 1 fried pickle. Attendees stared in awe as the children were asking if she actually fell. The young girl tried reaching out to the staff member, and the woman said that if they wanted to talk to the owner, they would have to come back at 9:30 later that night. All they did was mark off that specific card. And that's not shocking at all. The ride would be shut down for the rest of the week, but the rest of the rides would continue as scheduled. And that's where I disagree. If one of these bitches breaks down, everyone's being rechecked. I feel like they tried like guilt tripping the girl or something like that. Come on! You didn't get hurt that bad, did you? Let me just go ahead and knock that back into place for you. Take a funnel cake and we'll see you tomorrow. I'd be the only one enticed by that offer. And in my mind, they only marked off that cart at first, and then later people got involved. That one's harness was broken, but the other ones are fine. We're good to go, right? Come on, I have to make money this week. And you have to ask the question, did he notice if they fell, or was he just like playing on his phone or some shit, playing Snake on his little flip phone? She needs help! Woo! Like looking up one of the girls on the ride. This bitch spins 15 times per minute, but with me doing it, I can at least get to go 18. Want to see it? Turns up the speed. As I was digging, one of the people said, "You're going to be fine, because if you die, we don't make money." And for some reason, that made me feel safe. Like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I can't give you money if I'm dead. You're gonna be fine. We need to make that $20 off you one way or another. Take that, thank you. Maybe after reading this, I've deterred you from riding the ride, but you still want to go to the state fair. I'm not going to go ride the rides. I'm just going to go watch other people ride it. I'm going to get some deep fried and a deep fried pickle. I couldn't get creative with that last one. You may think that, oh, it's just deep fried food. What could possibly go wrong? At the Kansas State Fair on September 10th, 2018, a small explosion occurred by the Fry Shack's concessions trailer, which left 2 individuals hospitalized and others with minor injuries. According to the Kansas State Fair website, the incident occurred on what's called a Tasty Tuesday, where vendors were offering $2 concessions, and a minor injury is definitely worth a $2 funnel cake. Further investigation reveals that the explosion occurred when a canned food item was stored too close to a food warmer inside the trailer, causing expanding pressure inside the can, leading to an explosion. Holy shit. 2 people had to go to the hospital. How bad did it have to explode? It's like a little makeshift grenade inside that trailer. Just imagine just taking a bite of the food you just got and just hearing an explosion from the back. Got the last one, thank God. What happens if I told you that's not the most common danger? That the most common danger isn't in the kitchen, but in the food itself. The Cleveland County Fair in 2012, 106 E. coli cases were traced back to the North Carolina State Fair, with 12 children having to be hospitalized, with the leading cause being traced back to the fair's petting zoo. I didn't think it'd be the petting zoo. I thought it would be like someone just scratching their ass and just not washing their hands, just... Here you go. E. coli outbreaks come from the improper handling of raw or undercooked meat, inadequate food preparation, and inadequate sanitation practices. E. coli is a common foodborne bacteria that can lead to severe gastrointestinal illnesses, including diarrhea, fever, vomiting, and in a severe case, kidney disease. At this point, you have to decide at the fair, do you want the food there, or do you want to have the llamas, cows, and pigs there? Have your cake and eat it too, damn it. And I've never seen anyone go to the state fair specifically for the animals or anything like that. All right, there's a big fat ass pig right there, a cow, and he's just staring into the corner, dead-eyed, and 2 goats over there humping each other. New York E. coli outbreak. Cross-contamination is disgusting. And I thought, like, what's the worst that could happen? You blow up the toilet, have a little Hershey squirt, vomit everywhere, and just the rest of your day is fucking ruined. By the next week, you're fine, right? And that is incredibly, horribly wrong. In Washington County, New York, 3-year-old named Rachel Aldrich visited the fair with her family to enjoy the fair's rides, games, and food. That Sunday, Rachel and her 2-year-old sister became unusually aggressive towards each other, by Monday trying to scratch and fight each other. Following came the flu and sleeping excessively, to having diarrhea every 5 minutes, to not being able to sleep at all. Parents saw blood in the girl's stool and took them back to the doctor for a second examination, where Kayla's, Rachel's sister, improved well. As the week progressed, her heart failed and the supply of oxygen to her brain was cut off for 7 minutes, and she had kidney failure. Saturday afternoon, the family made the decision to take her off of life support. And I try to put myself in your shoes just a little bit, like, Damien, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Am I just not going to go to the fair? How about I just stand in the corner, look directly at the ground, talk to the carny operating the death trap my kids are going to go on, and the wife's going to go eat the funnel cake that I want. And I would say that would be fine. But so far, all of the deaths of the fair has been left up to human error or just carelessness. You know, just the carny just not turning off the ride, not paying attention. But what happens when the carnies have bad intentions? James Knight, a 26-year-old man, met three women, Elizabeth Marie Van Meter, Jocelyn Islip, and Athena Renee Hobson, throughout his job operating the pony ride at the Virginia State Fair, all disappearing. There were no leads of the disappearances until Wright got into a head-on car crash on March 19th, 2019, which left him injured and temporarily wheelchair-bound, where investigators found a cell phone belonging to Athena. 2 days later, she was reported missing out of Johnson City, Tennessee. Following the incident, Athena's father posted on Facebook saying, "She is missing. People saying she was with you. This is her dad." Once you kind of see that written on Facebook, you have to know that you're fucked, right? That you got caught. At that point, I would just turn myself in. 2 months later, in May, while searching the Wright's 77-acre property, investigators found the bodies of Elizabeth Van Meter, last seen on February 28, 2018, in Carter County, and Jocelyn Islip, who was reported missing from Cobb County, Georgia, on March 8, 300 miles away, both found in shallow graves, with Hobson's body still being missing at this time. Missing. The Southern cannot escape me. During a 7-hour interview with the police, Wright confessed to both murders, killing Elizabeth first, who had intellectual disabilities, leaving her with the mental capacity of a 13-year-old. After an argument over a video game, she fled from Wright's trailer into the woods, where he then grabbed his .22 caliber rifle and chased after her. In the woods, Wright claimed he heard what he thought was an animal and shot at it, which was actually Van Meter, leaving her with being shot in the back of the head. For Jocelyn's case, Wright met Jocelyn Islip through her father, who worked at the same company. He drove 300 miles each way from Virginia to Georgia, where he brought her back to his house, where he engaged in sexual intercourse in the woods. That is disgusting. So he drove from Virginia to Georgia and back. That right there is just creepy in itself. 17 to 23. I think he's 23. What is that? What was he? 26, 17 to 26, a 9-year difference. There are very little things I would drive 300 miles for, and it is not quick hookup. Her death occurred on March 9, 2019. Her body was found under a pile of logs on his property. In this case, both bodies are now accounted for, but not yet for Athena Hobson. Wright hired Athena to simply clean his trailer and went on a walk with her into the woods on March 17th, 2019. He came with the same .22 rifle he used in the previous murders. Wright claimed that he had tripped and fell and shot her in the back. You have to at some point come up with some better lie than that. Well, I fell. God, can I not trip these days? Damn. Come on, guy. Have you've never fallen before, dude? Well, I didn't fall in the first one. I thought she was a squirrel, dude. I can just imagine the investigator just sitting there through the bullshit, just being like, yeah, and that is life in prison for you. He then wrapped her body in a tarp and put her in the back of his truck, saying that he was trying to rush her to the nearest hospital. Plans changed when she fell out as he crossed a bridge and left her there after failed attempts of trying to get her out of the water. The Washington County Sheriff's Department called his statements hard to believe. No I tried picking her back up. Damn thing to call anybody else. I thought someone would have found her. She wasn't found until 2 years later with 2 shots in the back of her skull. He was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and now serving 3 life sentences in prison. And to that, I say farewell. Good. Stay in there. It sounds like he just didn't think he would get caught the entire time. Like, come on. At some point, you have to think, I have to come up with a better lie than this. The 40-year-old Oklahoma State Fair cold case in 1981. Cinda L. Pallett, her friend, went to the fair on their own September 26, 1981. Witnesses told the police that the 13-year-old girls left the fair with a man who offered them and 2 other boys he had recruited to help them unload stuffed animals from an off-site work truck. The police were left with 3 possibilities: the girls running away, being abducted, or killed, with the detective Don Pennington saying, "We have some suspects, but suspects to what?" First suspect was Michael Corey, a 36-year-old drifter working at the Oklahoma State Fair, with 2 boys saying the picture looked just like him. He was put in jail days later, but released after proving he was in Dallas, Texas at the time. 4 years later, the second one being accused was Royal Long of Wyoming. Russell was already in prison after pleading guilty to attacking 2 young girls hitchhiking at the state line. While one was able to escape the contact authorities, the FBI arrested Long, but was not able to find the younger girl. Investigators could put Long at the fair when the 2 girls went missing, but because of lack of evidence, the case was dismissed. Long wrote that he could solve the mystery of what happened to the girls for a price, and the paper declined. While in jail, he died from a heart attack. You gotta admit, he for a f***ing fact did that. But I don't understand how good can money do you in prison? I mean, I know it can get you a certain amount of things.
Spread a man's buns.
All right, I'm gonna get 50 honey buns now. Thank God. But you're also getting another charge. Also risking like the possibility of getting your ass beat. In the last two cases, it was carnival workers hurting fair goers. But what happens when carnival workers hurt and turn on each other? Funnel cake murders at the Iowa State Fair. Bobby and Marilyn Bluer opened up a concession stand called Florrie's Funnel Cake in the mid-70s after they got married. They traveled many fairs, each summer living in a converted chartered bus, eventually having children and bringing them along. On August 12th, Bew and his younger sister Jada left the home to begin selling funnel cakes, but by 1 p.m. their parents did not show up. Bew went back to find his father face down with tape covering his mouth and a bullet wound in the back of his head, with his mother on her back with bullet wounds in her chest and forehead. Investigators found at the scene the family safe being left wide open and Bew's truck being missing, as well as Jeremy Sneed. Sneed had fled the scene with the money and the truck for 19 days, blowing through all of the money, buying tattoos, booze, drugs, and prostitutes in states from New York to Seattle to Miami. After running out of cash, he called the police on a payphone and turned himself in. Had enough blow, had enough prostitutes to last me for the rest of my life, and I'll be gone. He did one last line. Time to turn myself in. In a videotaped confession, he said that he forced the husband to open his safe and duct tape his wife's mouth shut, as well as his own, telling him that he wasn't going to take it all, he just needed some money. Marilyn tried getting up from the table when Sneed shot her in the chest and then fired a shot in the back of her husband's head. Before leaving, he noticed that she wasn't completely dead and then shot her in the forehead as well. Sneed then confessed that he wasn't acting alone, and the murder and robbery plan was not from him, but from Jamie and Rodney Brzezowski, the Bluer's oldest daughter and her husband. They were jealous of the cars that Bew and Jada received from their parents and hoped the inheritance would come their way. I know that had to be like going tears and sobbing when like she got told the news. All right, I see that you took out a $100 million life insurance policy on your mom and her husband. And they died a week later. Yep. All right, go ahead and just sign right here. I'd be so pissed that the guy that I hired just completely ratted me out after he had like 2 weeks of fun. There's no way that a fair that runs only in the summer and late fall makes that much money to take someone's life. My own pa always liked you better. Gonna make you the face of the funnel company. I put long, hard days in front of that fryer. Never mind, I can see where they're gonna make a lot of money from that because they're charging like at least $15 for a funnel cake that costs maybe $2 to make it home. They're probably rolling in the funnel cake money. I had dreams, damn it. We were going to open up a lemonade stand. Too ambitious. Oh my God, it's so hot in here. Sneed to complete. Oh God, this guy's got a fucking little slimy ass name. Sneed. Sneed to complete deal guaranteeing that he would be in a federal prison. Jamie and her husband were convicted of 2 first-degree murders charges and were sentenced to life in prison. The Bluer family never recovered, with Bew and his sister trying to continue the business, but eventually couldn't because of the memories of his mother and father. While his sister, Jada, continued to run the business and marrying another concession man who worked at the fair, the younger brother and sister still have not forgiven the older sister, saying that they tore this family apart. And no shit, I wouldn't ever either. Was the 2003 Ford Ranger, was it really something to get that pissed off about? I wanted that 2003 Ford Raptor, you son of a bitch. Although the state fair may seem like cheap family fun, the constant Lego deconstruction and construction of these massive death machines may not be worth it. May not be worth it. This one's only 3 tickets. Kids, get on! I don't care that the latch is broken. Hold on, damn it! Although these companies guarantee your safety with proper safety checks and proper training to everyone working there, human error always seems to be a constant. So be sure to think twice the next time you go to your state fair, because the next time you go in, you may not be coming out. But until then, I hope you guys have a great day, drive safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!